Today we will be building this lead generation agent. Before we get into step-by-step replicating this agent, let's look at a higher level. What exactly does it do? In the part 1, it fetches the leads. We give it information depending on the company name, country, and job title. And from this information, it fetches us leads. Then we use this AI agent to get the company profile. And depending on the leads we fetched, some leads have the names. For example, let's look at the first lead that we got. It has a job poster's name, Max Briggs. So in case the name is present, we trigger the true, and then this automation is followed. And if we don't have a lead name, and in case we don't have a lead's name, then we run this automation, and using this hunter node, we figure out all the emails associated with the domain. So before moving forward, let's look at who can use this automation. So if you have a business or an agency or a B2B business in which you need to find leads to sell your services, this lead generation agent is perfect for you. So let's look at how you can grow your business. The first thing you can do is cutting costs. But cutting costs has limit. You cannot scale it down after some point. The next more important thing is scaling revenue. You can scale revenue as much as you want. So this agent will exactly help you do that. The second thing is you can scale revenue, and you can scale as much as you want. So this agent will help you do that. So let's look at the most optimized way to scale revenue. Scaling revenue is a function of getting more leads. The closer the lead is to your ICP, the more it's going to convert. So we need to get highly targeted leads. And there are two ways to do it. Let's look at the first one. So there are two ways to go about it. The first one involves getting an email list and blasting random emails in which you don't actually know how many of the leads are going to convert. The first method is to get email lists and blast random emails. This method is super unoptimized. You do not exactly know how many of the people on the email list are your ideal customers. The second way to go about is to head to different platforms and look for people who are facing some problem to which you hold the solution to. So today we're going to be using LinkedIn and looking for companies which require the exact services that we're selling. Now I have this empty workflow on n8n and I have named it lead gen m1. So let's start with first steps. The first step is to add a trigger. Now let's start building the workflow. The first step is to add a trigger. So I'm going to add a manual. Now I'm also going to add a webhook so I can use this automation from different platforms. So now we have our triggers ready. The next step would be to add the edit fields node so we can set what exactly we want to scrape. Click on the plus button and search for edit fields. Now we have it ready. Let's place it here and connect it to our triggers. Next step would be to edit this node. Let's rename our node to leads target and add 4 fields. First one being, now name the first field company name, country, job title, and the number of rows. And remember to save the workflows as we go ahead. Now the next step would be to add a HTTP node so we can fetch the leads from LinkedIn using an API. And for that, we'll be using Apify. So let's add a HTTP node, then click it, then rename it to fetch leads. So now let's head to Apify and get the API link. Click on the link, make an account. Now go to the Apify store and search for LinkedIn. And we'll be using this LinkedIn Job Scraper from Bibidi. Click on this. Now our next step is to get the API information. So click on API and click endpoints. And you can see there are multiple APIs. So the first is to run an actor, and there are many other options, but we'll use this, run actor and get datasets items. So we don't have to make 2 nodes, but I will be using this node, so I don't have to make 2 requests. I'll be using this API endpoint, so I don't have to use 2 HTTP nodes. One to make a request to scrape the leads, and the second to fetch the lead script from the API platform. So I'm going to be copying this API endpoint and go to my AI agent and put the URL here. Then keep the authorization to none and open the send headers tab. Then enter authorization and bearer. Now we have this part ready. Turn on send body and turn on JSON. And in the specific body, select using JSON. Then head back to the API platform, then head to input. And in the JSON, you can see the exact JSON configuration which we need to put in there. And you can copy the JSON configuration from here. And now we can get the JSON configuration from here. But before we get the full JSON configuration, let's see what exactly do we need. Head to the agent and click on leads target. So we need a company name, country, job title, and the number of rows we need to fetch. So head back here and click on manual and just enter any random word here. Company name, and we need rows, right? So now if you head back to JSON, and you'll see that everything is pre-filled for us. We have a company name, location, job title, and we don't see a number of rows yet, so it probably would have to be one. Now we head to JSON and we see everything is pre-filled for us. The company name, location, rows. So now we can just copy this and head to our agent and paste it here in the JSON body. And now let's try to run this node. Now let's enter some details in the leads target. So let's run this node, and in the leads target, I'm gonna put in Apple, country, United States, and job title, developer, and one row. Now if we run this step, you can see the output is here. Apple, United States, developer, and one row. Let's delete this and put in the company name here. Then we can remove the location and enter the country and leave this as it is. Then in the rows, we can put this here. And in the title, the job title, we can copy this. Now we have this node ready, and now it's ready to fetch information. So now we have everything set here. So let's look at the API endpoint again. It is a post request, so we're going to set this to post. Now our API endpoint is ready. I'm going to use some information and scrape the leads. So I'm just randomly writing Microsoft here, and I will select United States, and then the number of rows to. Now you can see I have this information here. And using this information, I'm going to run the fetch leads node. You can see our node finished execution, and we have all the information here. We have scraped the jobs, the company which posted it, when was it posted, how many applicants are there, what's the job description, how much experience is needed, and you can see that we don't have the poster full name. And this is a common theme with LinkedIn job postings. That's why we need the entire Hunter IO workflow. So now we have our leads. Now we have part one complete, as you can see here. We have completed the fetch the leads part. Now the next part is to get the company profile information, and we'll be using this AI agent to do that. So let's head to our workflow and select AI agent. And now you can connect any chat model to it. I'll use OpenRouter and specifically select DeepSeek Chat. I've already added my account here. Now I have my AI agent ready. So now let's set up our system inputs. Here I'm going to select define below, and I'll be giving a specific system message as well. For this system message, I have the prompt in my school community. You can pause the video and take the screenshot if you need it. But here we have the URL agent prompt. So I'm going to copy this prompt and paste it in here. So what exactly does this say is that look at the job description of the company and all the other information and give me the exact company name. For example, here we gave it a company name, but you don't have to do that. For example, you don't need to put in a company name. You can just select a country or just select a job title. Here we specifically entered Microsoft and the United States, but you don't have to do that. For example, you can just say, find me a developer job from the entire planet, and you don't have to specify any country. And in that case, we'll be using this AI agent, so we know exactly which company are we talking about. Now we have our system prompt ready. Let's get the user prompt. So the first thing I'll add is the company name, then I'll add a comma in the middle, then company URL, then location, because it might help the agent find the company faster. And then I will also be entering the apply URL. Now we have this AI agent ready. So let's run it. Now we have our agent finished running, and you can see we have the company URL, which is Microsoft. Now the next step is to divide the leads based on if we have the name of the job poster or not. So let's add an if node, and then we'll search string does not exist. So what we will do is look at the fetch leads node and go down to the poster full name and we'll enter this here. So now if the poster's name does not exist, it will go in false. If it does exist, it will go in true. For example, let's see test step. Now you can see we have all the names going to false. There is no poster name available. Now just to test if this node is working, let's go to the fetch leads node and I'll open the schema or maybe the JSON and I'm going to edit it. I'm going to search for poster. So now I have the poster full name. I'm just going to enter some random name, for example, Bill Gates, and I'm going to save it. Now I have this data pin and I'm going to run the node again. So now we have edited the name. Let's run our agent again and let's see what the if node gives us. Now the agent has completed running. Okay guys, so we previously used does not exist. This did not exactly work, so we're going to use is not empty. Go to the strings and select is not empty. Now let's run this node with the full name and check if it is not empty. Let's run this step and you can see there is one item in the true branch and 9 in the false, which basically means we have name for one of the person, but for the other 9 we don't have the name. Now we have successfully separated our leads based on if their poster name is available or not. And now we have completed the second step. Now the third step is to find the email of the lead if we have the name. And if we don't have the name, we're going to scrape all the emails from the certain domain and then run our workflow. Now we have this part of the agent ready. Let's set up the true pipeline. So if it is true, the first thing we will do is use a code node. And using this, we'll filter out some information from these leads. Now the first use of this code node is to get the name and separate it into the first and last name. For example, we have the full poster name, but we don't have the first and last name. So we are going to use this code to do that. So let's get the code. So I have the code here. So let's see what exactly does it do. The first thing it does is to get the full name split into two. And the second is to collect all the URLs from the company URL agent, which is this one. Let's rename this company URL agent. And we're going to be using that agent to remove all the URL except the one company URL. So let's copy this code and paste it here. So let's run this step. And now you can see it gives us a company URL and the first and the last name separated. Now we have the first and last name of the person. So now we can find his email using the Hunter.io node. I'm going to search Hunter and select the second option, generate or retrieve the most likely email address from the domain name with the first and last name. So now we have this. I've already connected my account here. So I'm going to select email finder and using our last code node, I'm going to put company URL here, first name here, and the last name here. Now I'm going to run this node. And now it has returned an email address, bill.gates@microsoft.com. And we're going to use this email to write personalized stuff. Now we have our lead ready. The next step would be to find content so we can write our personalized email. So now let's add a HTTP node. And now we'll rename this node to company profile. And now we will enter the company's URL, which is microsoft.com. And we're going to run this. And now you can see we have scraped the entire homepage of the Microsoft website. And using this, we can craft our personalized email. The next step would be to clean this code because this has a lot of HTML and we just need clean information. And the next step would be to add another code node. Now we have our code node ready. So let's go into the community and copy the second code. So what this code will do is clean our HTML file. And here you can see it took our HTML file and gave us all the clean information that we need. And now we have information about the product, so we can write a personalized email to the person. So now we will add 3 AI agents, one for each separate task. So let's add them first. AI agent, and another one, the last. And I'm going to connect the same open router. Now I've connected 3 AI agents, and I'm going to select DeepSeek Chat on each of them. Now the first one would be to get the company information. So let's rename this. The second one would be used to get the company's clean name. So now let's rename the second AI agent. And the third one will be to write personalized emails. And then using whatever email service you're using, you can send the email using a HTTP request. It will be a post request. So now let's prompt our AI agents. Open the first agent and select you define below. And we'll also give it a separate system prompt. Now I have all the information in the community. I'm going to go to the first company information agent, which is this. Now I'm going to copy this user prompt and paste it in here. And you can see it is recognizing our plain text. And now copying the system prompt. And now let's run this node. Now here you can see it has given us all the information it could find on the page, the testimonials, customer reviews. It doesn't have any, so it just says no customer review found. It also told us about all the products they're trying to launch to the market or already are in the market. So this information will help us write a more clear email. So now let's get the company's clean name. And now again, selecting define below and putting in a system prompt, I'm going to copy all the information. This is the user prompt that I'm going to use. And now I'm going to copy the system prompt. And now we have it ready. So let's run this and see if it gives us the. Now, as we ran it, we can see it gave us the desired output, which is Microsoft. It didn't give us any extra things. Now, the final step would be to write the email. And again, selecting define below and give it a system message. Let's copy both the informations here. So I'm going to use all this information. And here you can see showing red, which means it's not reading the data correctly. So what exactly do we need is we need this output and this. So I'm going to remove both of them and copy the clean company name here. And now we have that, and I'm going to put this one here. So now we have that running. And the next step would be to write this system prompt for the email and put it here. Here you can see it wrote a personalized email mentioning what exactly is the company doing right now. Now we can send this personalized email using the email service or upload all this information, including the lead, to our CRM. So we have completed the first part. Let's look at the second part if we don't have the email. So again, we'll be using the Hunter IO node. And this time we'll select the first option, which is get every email address found on the internet using a given domain. And for this, and now we'll enter the domain name using this node. And all emails, we can select the limit. For example, on the free plan, they only have a limit of 10, so I'm going to do that. And now I run the node, and you'll see all the email that's scraped. You can get the pro plan, and you can scrape as many emails as you want. And now you can see it has scraped us 90 email addresses from Microsoft. And now we have 90 email addresses. So now the next step would be mostly similar to what we did here. So I'm just going to copy these two nodes and paste it here. And I'm going to connect this and the company profile. So now I'm going to edit these two nodes. So in the company profile, I'm going to find the Microsoft URL from the if node and put it here. Now I'll run this node and it's going to scrape all the information from the company's homepage. Now I'll run the code node again, so it cleans the HTML to give us the company information. So now we have all the leads and the company information. I'm going to copy all these 4 nodes and paste it below and connect it to this one. So now I pasted all the nodes below, but I've made some space here because we'll be needing one more node. which is to get the first name of the person. Because earlier we got just one name and we were able to get the name using a code. But now we have the email address, and I'm gonna add another open router and select the DeepSeek chat. Now I'll rename this node to get first name, and then I'll select define below, and I'm gonna copy this prompt which I have below in school community, and then I'm gonna paste it here. And here you can see now I'll have to run these agents to get the information forward. And here you can see now this agent has completed running, and you can see it gave us all the information we need. Now I'll run the clean company node, which is to get the correct company name. And I'm going to run it, and here you can see it gave us the output Microsoft. Then I'm going to find now I'll run this AI agent, which will give us the first name of the person we're going to be messaging, which is Jana. Now this node will write us a customized email, and then we can upload it to a CRM or send it using an email service. We have our email ready. And now you have completed this lead gen agent build. And now you can generate unlimited leads for your business and your clients. For more such cool builds and AI agents, join my school community and meet like minded people and make money with AI agents.